My name's David, and the Chronological Bible Reading for May 16th is Psalms 3 and 4, 12 and 13, 28 and 55. Psalm 3 is something that David wrote during the time, or at least about the time, that he was fleeing Jerusalem from his son Absalom. There are many who attack me. Many say about me, there is no help for him from God. I'm sure it appeared that way. It definitely appeared that way to many of David's enemies, the supporters of Absalom, those who had been deceived and won over by the liar, the one who began crying out for justice when there was no justice for his sister, and he let that bitterness grow in him, and he partnered with the enemy, and it completely bankrupted his entire life. Paul writes in Ephesians, "Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Do not give the enemy a foothold." Absalom let the sun go down on his anger. He gave the enemy a foothold, and it consumed him. When we give a portion of ourselves to the enemy, he is not content until he has all of us. He came to steal and to kill and to destroy. Fortunately, the way things appear are not always reflective of the reality. When it appeared that David had no help from God, it was not a reflection of reality. When people said there is no help for him from God, they were looking at circumstances that did not adequately portray the truth. And David knew this. So he continued writing, "But you, Yahweh, are a shield around me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head. I cry aloud to Yahweh, and he answers me from his holy mountain." No matter what the circumstances in your life look like, do not believe that God is unwilling to help you. Do not fall for the lie of the enemy that God has abandoned you or that God has forsaken you. Listen, David was fleeing from Absalom, his son, because of his own neglect, his own unwillingness to confront his son who raped his daughter, his unwillingness to stand up for justice, to redeem the life of his daughter Tamar, whose hope for the future had been wrecked by her own brother. David did nothing about it, and a series of events unfolded that led to a civil war where David was running for his life from his oldest son, who was seeking to take over the nation of Israel from his dad. And even though it was in part David's fault, and David didn't deal with it, and things escalated because of David's lack of leadership, even then God was with David, protecting him when David called out to him. I wonder how things would have ended differently if David had not called out to God. If David had believed the lie of the enemy, saying that he didn't deserve God's help, that God was against him, and that God was never going to help him again. David cried out in this psalm, "Rise up, Yahweh, save me. May your blessing be on your people." Even while he was running for his life because of his own mistakes, he still cried out to God, "May your blessing be upon your people, and I am one of your people. Bless me, O God." Are you asking for God to bless you, even in the midst of your undeservedness? Bless us, O God. Restore us. Can we approach the throne of God's grace with boldness like David did in Psalm 4? Answer me when I call, God who vindicates me. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. Even when you're being oppressed by the wicked, in Psalm 12, can you pray like David? "Help, Yahweh, for no faithful one remains. I'm all alone. I can't trust anyone. I've been forsaken. I took a stand for the truth, And even those who agree with me are unwilling to stand with me because they're afraid. Even when in the depths of your own repercussions and circumstances because of the mistakes you've made, can you pray like David in Psalm 13? How long, Yahweh, will you forget me forever? I know it's my fault that I'm in this situation, but surely you won't forsake me. God, I'm calling out to you. I'm crying out to you for help. How long will you hide your face from me? Restore brightness to my eyes, or I'll die. In Psalm 28, my rock, do not be deaf to me. If you remain silent to me, I will be like those going down to the pit. If you don't answer me, God, I'll die. Save your people. Bless your possession, shepherd them, carry them forever. Not just me, God, but all of your people. Save us, bless us, shepherd us, carry us forever. Psalm 55, how do you pray when you've been betrayed by a friend? David was betrayed by his son. He was betrayed by his chief intelligence officer, his advisor. He was betrayed by the people that he went to battle to preserve. He had rocks thrown at him from common men, threw rocks and cursed God's chosen anointed one. But instead of reacting in the flesh, he takes his complaints to God. And with the conviction that comes from having lived through it himself, David is able to say with boldness and with confidence, cast your burdens on Yahweh, and he will sustain you. He will never allow the righteous to be shaken. If you've accepted Jesus as your Messiah, you belong to him. And whether or not you've been perfect, if your heart's in the right place, you cry out to God, you've fallen to temptation, you just repent. David made mistakes and he repented. Oh God, cleanse me from this unrighteousness. Make me new. Restore a willing spirit within me, God, that I would keep your commands, that I would meditate on your law day and night. Forgive me, change me, make me into the person you want me to be. And those prayers are examples for us. They are teaching us, they are ministry to us, showing us the way, leading us back into the presence of God so that we can be restored in right relationship with him. And so we can boldly go before the throne of God's grace and pray these prayers. God, save us. God, restore us. God, forgive us. God, change us. God, save us. God, help me. If you don't help me, I'll just die. I have nothing else to offer. I have nowhere else to go. May he help you. May he save you. May he cleanse you from all unrighteousness. May he bless you abundantly as you yield to him for his glory and for your good. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to go to BibleInOrder.com to get information about joining us live on Sunday mornings.